left this long. They say, yeah, we are finished. Otherwise, we eat up too much time. They say, yeah! Too long! Way too long. The more we have to do this, the less we get to do. Say, yeah! Too long. Over here. You're eating up our time. Yeah, we say, yeah, we are finished. We don't say, yeah. Otherwise, we can't even start the show. We're not even started the show. We're already losing time. Say, yeah! Too long. Yeah! Don't get ahead of me, we end up in the wrong place. Now, I am talking, you are listening. I've never had to keep saying that so much in the first 2 minutes of the show. There are 800 of you. If you are all talking, I cannot continue because things will get dangerous. If I am talking, I must have you listening. Yeah? Good. You're ready for the shout? Say yeah! Say yeah! Say yeah! You're sick of saying yeah! Say yeah! Hypocrites. Some of the jokes just for me. We have a little bit more audience interaction, and then we begin the show. When I say my name, you yell kaboom, yeah? It was a yes or no question. I am Dr. Kaboom! There's 800 of you, you can do better than that. I'm Dr. Kaboom! Kaboom! Just the men, kaboom! Just the ladies, kaboom! Just the mimes! You're on fire. My friends, who here has seen a Kaboom show before? Say yeah? Who has never seen Dr. Kaboom? Say yeah? Welcome, fresh meat. My friends, today's show is a new show I am touring. It is different from the one you might have seen before. Today's show is called It's Just Rocket Science. Now, I call it that on purpose. You have heard maybe in your life someone say to you, oh, you can do that, it's not rocket science. Yeah. You have heard this? No. If you haven't, you will. I despise this saying. I despise this saying because this saying tells us that science is hard. That rocket science is hard. Science is not hard, science is easy. Rocket science is easy. Point a rocket, light the fuse, kaboom! That's rocket science. We have a mindset in our country. We act as if science is only for the people who are already good at it. This is damaging our great nation. Science is for everyone, yeah? Yeah. We're not like this with music. You know the guitar is a difficult, complex instrument. But you know if you pick up a guitar, if you apply yourself, over time you can master the guitar, or at least the basics, yeah? The same thing is true for science. If you apply yourself, over time you can master science, or at least the basics. Sure, sometimes it takes more effort, but that doesn't make it hard, that just makes it work. That's just life. Yeah? Hard and work are different things. Sometimes they go together, but not with science. It just takes more effort. So we're going to use rocket science to show you what that means, but how science is for everyone. Well, not just the students, also for the adults. The first thing we're going to talk about is called centripetal force. Not centripetal force, that's a misunderstanding. Unless you adopt a rotating frame of reference, there's no such thing as centripetal force. That's a much higher level of physics, one we're not going to talk about today. Centripetal force. Here I have the angry bird on the end of a string. I swing it around so we make it even angrier. And when I swing this bird around at the end of the string, it's not being held out there by centripetal force. What is happening is it is being kept from flying away by centripetal force. A subtle distinction, but an important one, I will explain. Hundreds of years ago, there lived a man named Sir Isaac Newton. He was a very wise man, spent a lot of time thinking. He was so smart, they made him a knight just for thinking. That's pretty smart, yeah? When he taught us about how things move, and one thing he taught us about is called inertia. When inertia tells us that an object that is moving will continue in motion forever until outside forces act upon it. An object in motion will continue in motion forever until something happens to change it. The opposite is also true. An object at rest will stay there forever until something happens to change it. The Napoleon will not get up and run away. If it does, I will pry it from the other direction. It will stay there until outside forces act upon it. If I throw a baseball into the air, it will fly that way forever until outside forces act upon it. It will. On the earth, those outside forces act immediately. The moment, the instant The baseball leaves my hand, gravity begins to pull it down towards the ground, air friction slows it down, maybe someone's big fat head gets in the way. But if I am in space and I throw the baseball, it will fly that way forever until forces like this come into play. Maybe somewhere along the way some gravity will affect it, maybe some debris in space will slow it down, maybe someone's big fat head is floating in space. I like to picture Justin Bieber's head. Oh, that poor boy. My friends, when I swing the angry bird around at the end of the string, at every point in a circle, because of inertia, it wants to fly off in that direction forever. At every point in the circle, it's trying to fly off in that direction forever. But at every point in the circle, the string is pulling it back towards the center. Center, centripetal. Pulling it towards the center, keeping it from flying away. In effect, making the angry bird fall in a circle around my hand. This is important for rocket science because of satellites in orbit. We send our satellites into orbit, we send them with just enough force that at every point in their orbit, they are trying to fly off because of inertia, but at every point in their orbit, the Earth's gravitational pull is pulling towards the center of the planet. Centripetal force, in effect, making our satellites fall in a circle around the planet. Now, if we want to go beyond Earth's gravitational pull, we have to create enough force to break Earth's gravitational pull. Woo! Yeah, throw me the satellite, I'm open. Yeah. Nice throw! I gotta tell you, that's the first time anybody's thrown it to me. The very first time. Usually it goes over there or over there. I'm standing here like this. Sometimes it hits someone in the front row in the back of the head. And then I'm left to assume that that school has a very good soccer team. My friends, centripetal force is rocket science. It has another purpose. We're going to come back to it in just a moment. But first, we're going to talk for a moment about everyone's second favorite subject, math. Who here loves science? Say yeah. Now tell me the truth. Who here loves math? Say yeah. That's nice. Who here hates math? I am talking, you are listening. I am talking, you are listening. I am talking, you are listening. I run into this everywhere I go. I'm going to try to change your mind just a little bit. I'm going to tell you a secret about math. Everywhere I go, there are always people who tell me they hate math. If I talk to them, it always boils down to the same thing. They hate math because math is about numbers and numbers are confusing. I'm going to tell you a secret about math. Math is not about numbers. Math is not about numbers. It's not. Math is about patterns. Patterns that are already inherent in the world around us. Math, numbers rather, are just the alphabet for math. It's how we describe those patterns. How we show them, how we use them. Even counting is a pattern. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 is a pattern of adding 1 each time. We use numbers to demonstrate that. Math is about patterns. I'm going to teach you a pattern that you can use tonight to prove to your parents once and for all that you really are smarter than they are. Yeah? I'm going to teach you a pattern that you can use to multiply any 2-digit number in your head by 11 faster than someone can do it with a calculator. And you do not have to be so-called good at math, because it's about patterns. It's not about numbers. Numbers are the tools, the alphabet. I'm talking, you're listening. Someone over here, give me a 2-digit number. You're not over here. What? 22, let's go with 24, just because it's a little bit, and they're not the same numbers that make it a little bit clearer. Then I come back to 22. And we go with number 24. 24 times 11, here's what you do. 24 is a 2 and a 4. Add those together. What do you have? Put it in between the 2 and the 4. 264. 24 times 11 is 264. Yeah. 4 times 11. What's 3 plus